Hello and welcome to another live broadcast from Shady Sports Network. I am TJ, and with me is Justin Coble, the owner of the Harrisburg Stampede. How are you doing with all things considered, Justin?
I'm blessed, man. I'm doing good. No complaints. And, appreciate you having me on and uh, talking to me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you again for coming on. I know we had a lot of good conversation in our last interview. Obviously, this one on a little bit more of a somber note. Late last week, the announcement that the Harrisburg Stampede were ceasing play, um, and obviously, kind of shocked a lot of the fans and stuff like that. And with that, I'll give you the floor to just maybe discuss the process that went into it and into the ultimate unfortunate decision.
It's unfortunate. I for sure feel like it's unfortunate, I would say, but I don't think it's a complete negative. There's people, I'm sure there's some players upset, maybe some staff, even possibly fans, sponsors, partners. I don't think any of the sponsors or partners, after talking to most of them, I've had most of them talk in the phones, email, or in person. I don't think most of the staff I've gotten to speak with directly. There's probably some that I haven't been. Some players I've been able to talk to, not all of them. Most, I would say all the players have been contacted by Stampede personnel and coaches. But again, I didn't every day talk to the players anyways. I don't, there were many players last year that I didn't talk to through text or phone. So don't feel like it was on me. In fact, I would even venture to say that if I felt like I had to call every single person on my staff, that would explain part of the problem, the bigger issue. So it's unfortunate. I made a business decision. I want to start with that. People can draw their own conclusions. They can make up their own stuff. I don't care. The one thing that I definitely don't care is what other people say or think of me. I'm blaze my own trail. I don't really care at all. Um, it came down to multiple reasons. I would say a lot of small reasons added together created a big reason. Um, and so I won't go. I can't tell you exactly when the decision was made. It probably got tossed. Started thinking this about 3 to 4 weeks ago, and then it really came when I made the decision. I was holding on to a couple things to see if they fell in place. They didn't, and so I made the decision. Then I just sort of made it probably a week before Thanksgiving, and then I said, I'm going to hold it to vest. I'm going to let everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and then I'm going to announce it. I would say the number one reason for doing it now was so that I could allow the players to sign elsewhere. Um, it just the things. So a little backstory with me. I've owned businesses for my whole entire life. I've done very well. I was never given anything. I worked my ass off. I'm college educated, but like at the end of the day, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. But what I have learned is to put people smart around me. And I've learned to find people that are passionate about what they do. Um, so when I started the Stampede, I wanted to bring it. I've always ran it as the same way with the business model that I run my other businesses. My other businesses I run as a business. This isn't a fan. This isn't a collector. So my other business, sports memorabilia, there's a lot of collectors that start a business. There's a lot of fans that get into the business. They're oohing and on over meeting athletes. I don't even get excited to hardly really meet. And even my bills, Josh Allen, that doesn't phase me. Don't get me wrong. I like to meet them, or I like to hang out and go to dinner and hear their stories, but my business model's not based on me doing that. I'm not going to lose money to do it. So when I brought the team back, I wanted to be a solid business. One of my weaknesses, but also a strength of mine, is I like to do things right. I like to do things nice. I like to do things first class. That just a long time ago, I was told if it's worth doing, do it right, do it the right way. People say that, but they really don't mean that. And arena football, indoor football, a lot of organizations are not ran that way. We had multiple indoor teams last year in indoor football and AIF that were not ran that way. I wasn't perfect last year, our team, but I don't want to run it the way that I learned indoor football. I learned indoor football that you just basically shut it down after the season and you take everybody's money. And if you get the sponsors' money, if you do close, you did good. And I just never really felt that way. Like if you take sponsors' money, you need to do everything that you signed up for. You need to, over deliver, not under deliver. And I wanted to be different. And that's what I set out on for the 12 years ago. And I brought Marcus in and we did that. And I was able to sell to Marcus and make some money. I made a business decision. This time, I really did my analytics, my budget. I pulled up the budget that I went with to show. I've made some failures, underestimating some things last year. And the climate had really changed in the 10, 12 years. So just to give differences, 12 years ago, we traded out 100% our housing. We traded out 100% our busing, to go to the away games. That was not able to be done last year. And it was a huge line item. You go from thinking that I can go in with the best salesman or me and convince this hotel or this Airbnb or this rental property and trade it out. Well, it wasn't. So we spent $12,000 on housing last year. And we got half, we housed 18 beds. We had a good portion of them in trade and still spent $12,000. Then we get into the busing. Well, buses were going to be $50,000, $60,000 to the locations that we had to go. So we used vans and we drove. And to some people's opinion, that was unprofessional and I didn't like it. But we still spent thousands and thousands of dollars. So when you start doing and looking at that, that is a failure on me. That's not any staff. I literally put the budget together and I misbudgeted a few things last year. We had issues with teams, dropping in and out. They weren't ready to play football. From our standpoint, I feel like our game day operation was awesome. Our game day experience was awesome. I think we took care of our players. We never missed a payroll budget, $1. They got win bonuses. We paid everybody. We held parties. We got them. Apparel, all my players were, got stuff. I felt like I didn't do enough. So going into year 2, we bought our field last year. We bought our pads. We leased our field. Our walls. So the plan was to do some upgrades, like I put personally, just to give some rough, I don't know how much or anything, but, we rent an office, utilities, internet, website, monthly fees, didn't pay a GM, but paid commission, head coach salary, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, 1-2 position coaches. We ran without an equipment manager paid last year, player payroll. You have ASCAP, that's to use music for the house DJ to use licensed music, bid swap, to have an account with that. You have your league dues. You have bus drivers or gas, hotel, the turf lease. We paid for that. We have footballs. Last year we paid $17, $18, $19 a football. When you order 300 footballs, do the math, it's $6,000 somewhere around there. We bought shoulder pads. We bought helmets. I bought everything brand new. We had home and away uniforms, practice gear, tape and pre-wrap. Last year it was $1,790. In 2012, it was $1,200. So it went up $700, $800, $600. Radio, television, newspaper, billboards. We spent just approximately $9,000 on advertising, and I thought we didn't do enough. So visiting team, we traded a lot of meals. Officials, officials are $600-$700 a game. If you play 5 home games, you're paying that every game. PA announcer, videographer, music or DJ, trainers, scoreboard operator, field announcer. These are just some of the things that we paid for. Merch, we crushed it last year in merchandise. We were doing $4,000 to $6,000 a game and apparel and selling merch, and all this. But if you were to you're not at a 50% markup, but let's say you were. So you do 25,000 in merch, you spent about 15, 20,000. Game night giveaways, youth camps, arena. The arena went up 18% from 12 years difference. And we released it from and just to show we knew this was going to happen. They do a billing at the end, but when you're renting from a state facility, it went up. There's no other way to say it. And I think we had one of the more affordable rents in the league. Taxes, utilities, things like that. Workers' comp. To take care of players correctly, you have to have workers' comp. We had a workers' comp, and we had an injury the very first game, beginning of the game. We had a couple others. And so based on that budget, we literally, by the time we sold tickets, I spent almost $180,000 on different various things. And at the end of the day, I was fully prepared. I had my budget. I thought it would be in 150 range. That's what it was about. But that was where I made a big mistake on my own part, because I used the old numbers and thought that would still be the same. And when I was in AIF before, or the AIFA, I used those numbers thinking that would be a good jumping off point. To be honest, they were not realistic. Things had gone up, and what I did is I took the budget of what I thought would be, but that wasn't acceptable to run a team like that. So year two, we wanted to do a bus. We put a deposit down on the bus. We put the deposit down in the arena. We did all this stuff. We got the contract for the arena. They locked in the dates, and same pricing. It was good. We wanted to do some other things, buying new end zones. The football price went down. The apparel was about the same, jerseys. But I had a goal in mind of a sponsorship. So last year, I won't name the number, but we did very well. We had 43 sponsors between sponsors, cash, and trade. We did very well with it. But I went to all of them. Most of them came back. 2 were asked not to come back, or we didn't want them to come back for reasons. But most of them came back. My hope was to increase that approximately 20% across the board, 20 to 30. So if that we would increase some of the sponsors and then get new. And it's been tough. There's no other way to say it, man. It's been tough. And got to the point where we had some big deals that we were working. They did not fall. They did not go our way. And I had to do projections. As an owner, you're doing projecting. And financially, I could have played football this year, but I would have been spending again 180 to 200. Like if I didn't, just the bus alone, you're spending $50,000. We're going to spend that in commuting, so we need it. Ticket sales are down. They just weren't where I was hoping they would be. And sponsorship wasn't where. And at some point you have to realistically look at the product that you're going to put on the field and the losses that you're going to have. And I'm like, if I spend even 100,000, 150,000, 200,000 out of my own money, that's 2 years in, and I'd be almost $500,000. What other business would I do that? Probably not any. And so I sat with a lot of people that are smarter than me, and my attorney, very close friend of mine, obviously an accountant, and we looked over the numbers. And I worked my ass off in my other business. I've built it up to a very successful marketing company in sports marketing. And why would I take all of the profit from there and what I've worked years on and put it into something that I don't know if we would have gotten year 3, 4, or 5, turned it to breaking even or profitable. It's nobody's fault. I hold it myself fully accountable. But because I'm the leader of the ship per se. But at the end of the day, the cost outweighed what I felt were a reasonable investment. And they were still going up. We thought we had a housing deal in place that fell through about a month ago. We had the bus deal we were not able to close the sponsorship that I thought we were going to do that. We had another large sponsorship that was just right there at the door, never got closed, but never got finalized. Those were needle movers. They were like going to make it go from, yes, we can play to no, or no to yes. Like they were just too big. And I think one of the final straws is the workers' comp. They went It went from, almost $7,900 increase in one season. And when you start looking at the prices, I mean, we have to do so much revenue. And what did our arena seat? 2,400. We did 1,581 last year. Well, if half those tickets are comp or whatever, I mean, you're not bringing in 1,581 paid. But can we get to 1,000? Can we get to 1,500 paid? And so I just had to be really honest. My left side, the fan, enjoying it, but at the right side, we just weren't able to do it. And so I made the ultimate decision. I wanted it to be early. I didn't want to wait till January or February and pull out. I have a lot of respect for the NAL. I love the NAL. I'm a huge supporter of NAL football. I respect the owners. I think that there's great. I read these message boards, and I'm blown away at some of the first thing. If you're a reporter, or you're an indoor football, a league arena reporter, or you have an arena group or Facebook page and you hide behind it and you're not man enough to put your name on it, I have no respect for you. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. You go and trash the NAL, you talk all this shit. And now I'm not an owner, so I can't get fined. You talk shit about the NAL, but know nothing about it. And you show your immaturity and quite frankly, how trashy you are by trashing a league that you know nothing. The IFL is probably the premier league right now. Let's just go with that. Okay. Some people won't agree, but I'll go with that. That's good. They made their pockets are deep. I'm not a multimillionaire, and I don't plan on putting $1 million into my arena team. I don't need the tax write-off for that. I can't write off $1 million in taxes, and I'm only a $3.5 million business. That don't make no sense. So we'll call the IFL that. Okay. But they've had a couple teams fall off. They've had a couple teams. Are we live?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we've had a couple teams. They had a couple teams fold. So then you get to the NAL, and there are solid group of owners that care about running it correctly, that care about putting good football on and running it right. They're trying. The problem is there's so many bad people in the business that have run it wrong for so long. It's hard changing bad habits. I mean, my goodness, anybody has a kid knows bad habits are hard to change if you're an adult or a kid. So what the NAL's done with Todd leading it as the commissioner and some of the senior people that have been there in NAL, for many years or the last couple of years, they're trying to change the culture. They're bringing in vetting teams. They're bashing them, removing Corpus from the schedule. Don't even know the story. They go off into AF1. AF1 didn't vet them. Nobody ever reached out and really wanted to know the true story of what it was. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I'm not going to go into a lot of in-depth and everything, but there was reasons they were removed from the schedule. They weren't released from the NAL. They were removed from the schedule, and they were justified reasons. I sat on those calls. I heard it. So I have a lot of respect for the owners of the NAL. I have a lot of respect for those teams. And the makeup of the NAL is that there's no single owner. Under the AIF, we were owned by a single owner or two, and then it was taken over. It ended up being Brandon saved that. Coach Sports, shout out to Coach Sports right there. He really stepped in and helped. We probably would have not had a football season, and we would have lost our ass. Every owner would have lost their ass more than we already did, and we would have been embarrassed and lost face. But when we came into the NAL, they're trying to. So it's not owned by one owner. It's owned by all the owners. Everybody owns a stake in it. So they vote on everything. They approve everything and do it the right way. So when somebody gets removed, understand that there was a majority. It wasn't like somebody was picking on them. Somebody was being unfairly targeted. All they have to do is look at it and say, hey, man, that vote was 11-0. There's got to be something going on that we don't know or see. There's a lot of smart men that have invested a lot of money in their teams in their cities that run the NAL, and they're trying to move forward. So I got a lot of respect for them. And to me, to be a good partner to them, yeah, there's some owners that are not happy with me. They're probably upset with me for doing this. I wanted to have a great rivalry with Josh and Chris Duffy out there in Wheeling. But at the end of the day, to be a good partner is to do the right thing. Integrity is doing the right thing, even when you don't want to, or it's not the cool thing or the favorite thing to do. It's better to go out now, allowing the players to be able to sign other places in other leagues, and it's the right to allow that league to reshuffle and regroup. Um, than if I don't think that we're going to play the season or have it. I mean, there were staff within my organization that wanted me to go to January, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do that. That's unethical. And if I didn't believe that it was going to change December, January, maybe February, why would I keep investing money? I mean, I'm going to spend money. So I own my field. Okay. I own the walls. We got couches, we got TVs, we got helmets, we got, you name it. I mean, we have a massive warehouse. That warehouse is $1,800 a month. I don't need it. It's the only thing that's in it, Stampede. Until I liquidate and get rid of that, I'm going to be paying that. We have an office. We just signed a new lease, right at the end of the summer. We pay for our offices. We were at Harrisburg, so we had to have a team office downtown. We pay a couple $100 a month for that. So at the end of the day, I'm going to pay all the bills. I'm refunding all of this week. We're refunding all the ticket holders next week. And that's whole nother thing. There's, in the leagues past and teams past, not this team, but other teams, it's sort of not a lot of them don't refund the sponsors. It's my name on the line. I'm refunding every sponsor. Next week, I'm going with them, bringing them checks and get a refund. And we're excited. Dazzle Sports is my other business. We're sports marketing. We do autograph signings, celebrity appearances, charity events. We also have a retail store, custom frame shop. We're moving all of our nonprofits over to Dazzle Sports. We're actually adding on our website a partners page. Coach Sports will be on there. All of my nonprofits, Easter Seals, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Special Olympics, they're coming over. We're going to be still doing fundraising for them. We're going to be doing autograph appearances and doing sports camps. We transitioned from football to sports camps. We're still going to be working with quite a few of our partnerships to provide, youth footballs, youth backpacks, T-shirts, things like that. We're going to still make a social impact in our community. We're still going to do that. That's my commitment. We played 5 football games in the city a year, 5. So we had 360 other days to be something that we're proud of and give back to our city. And that's what we're going to do. We're still going to do that. It's just going to be under Dazzle Sports brand. It's unfortunate. I feel like part of it feels like a failure. It's the first business that I've ever closed. I've sold every other business that I've had. But, there's people disappointed in me in this community or in my staff. I'll take those lumps. But I'm excited about where we're going. I'm excited for NAL football. They got a lot of good teams. A lot of good players. I mean, I've personally talked to Wilkes-Barre. I've talked to Omaha. I've talked to some teams, Wheeling, about players. And, I think probably half of our roster has been signed already. I know the coaches have diligently been calling and sending film and talking to teams. We had a really good, we were 5-3 last year, but we could not beat Columbus. They were the crown jewel of our league, the champion. But honestly, we had some good men, good guys that you can bring into your house around your kids, and good and with the nonprofits and the partnerships. And so they're going to do really well playing other places. And I'm hoping that some of them get to move up. Some sort of long thing there, but hope that it makes sense to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I hope they move up too. That's what this sport is all about, just giving guys an opportunity that wouldn't have had it, the shot to get up to, especially with the UFL now going on and the ELF, stuff like that.
Yeah.
One question we did get from the viewers was, do you have any advice for people watching that may want to own their own sports team?
It's going to take capital. That's the first thing. Don't start a team thinking you're going to sell tickets. That's not how you fund a team. I think the teams that fail and succeed understand that. You need to have a lot of capital. I put a lot of cash into it last year, and no regret. I'm a gambler, so I don't mind losing money. I want to just get a fighting chance to get it back, and that's what year 2 was. And I spent it in year 2. I don't think I'm going to have a fighting chance to get it back. So you need to have cash. You need to have capital. You need to have a line of credit, or you have to have some pockets. You need to go into it, make your budget, be realistic, and say, if I don't sell anything, can I fund the team? And then if you have that and the funds to do that, you need to have the one thing that I did feel like I sort of like didn't do. I would have got another, or I would have got a good GM or a salesman, with me. I was pretty much the main one. We tried some other people and everything, but the close ratio and the success was low. So understand, it's everybody, bro. I could get 200 people to get online and talk about football. They love talking about football. They love talking about the players, and we want to move them up. That's so great. Like rah rah, doesn't matter. None of that matters if you can't sell sponsorship, if you can't sell tickets, if you can't win your city over. You got to be able to do that. Because if you don't have anybody in the stands and you don't have any businesses supporting you and believing in your goal and your mission, you're not going to play football. You're not going to play the players. They're not going to have fun playing for you, and they're not going to be able to move up. So I probably had 60 resumes sent to me. People wanted to coach or recruit. Nobody wants to send you a resume to be a salesman. And hey, man, I want to come in and sell. I want to, do the marketing part. I want to commission, they want to, or the big one. I want to be paid $60,000. Okay. Well, do you realize how much to pay you a full-time salary, $60,000 you should be selling at? You should be selling at $250,000 to $300,000 a year. Oh, you don't want that. Well, what point would it be if you go sell 100,000 and I'm paying you 60? That's net 40. That's bad math. So, but there's a lot. I still think it's a great model. I mean, I love it. I wasn't able to make it work here. Sucks. But I love my city. I love this is home. I got a lot of other things. And so, people were asking me, I'll give you the reason I gave you the interview. So when I announced this, nobody's reached out and asked me why. Nobody asked me why. To this day, I still don't really, you guys. Why did you do it? So I think people have to draw their own conclusions. I think people think they know everything because they read a Facebook post or a press release. That's really a press release we wrote. But at the end of the day, I have my mom's health is not well. I'm the primary caregiver. I'm dealing with that. That's a lot. I run another business and I take that serious. I mean, I have employees that work for me that's their full-time job. They get paid salary, their, benefits, everything. And they have kids. Why would I jeopardize that for arena football? It's not that it would, but it took the real big thing for me. I will tell you, one of the big swings is how much time it took away from my other business. When I came back, I thought I would assemble a team and it'd be a team going out there and selling and marketing. And then I found out this year when that team really means me. And I would be like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm running sales appointments. That means I need to do Dazzle Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And I would be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on meetings, calls, emails. Never even got to Dazzle. And I'm like, this is crazy. I make a killing. Last year was the worst in 12 years, the worst Christmas my company's ever had. The worst sales is because I was away from it. So I was like, I didn't want to do that this year. I wanted to get back to selling and doing what I do and making money and having fun. And, I set out a goal when we ended the 2024 season of where I needed to be. I really thought it would be October 1 because that was when we announced that we were coming back. So I said, on our 1 year anniversary, we need to have 100,000 in sponsorship committed to next season. We didn't hit that. I extended it, didn't hit it, extended it. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? It's in the best interest of everybody. People can get mad, but at the end of the day, you write the checks and you got to be willing to, look yourself. Do you want to lose it or not?
Absolutely. Yeah. When the numbers stop adding up, I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah. And I'll be really honest, man. I've been thinking about it for like a month. I was like, man, I could still do everything that I committed to doing without taking these people's money. The only thing that I'm not going to do is advertise at 5 games. I mean, a couple of our sponsors, Belco, Community Credit Union, they don't give a shit about football, arena football. I'm just going to be blunt. They were in it for the kids' football camps. How many kids are we having the day of the game for the football camps? How many kids are a part of our kids club? Okay. You had 186 last year. Oh, we're going for 300 this year. Cool. We're in. Papa John's. Papa John's supported our kids club and our kids camps. They got the dashers, but they want to know, how can we do this? And I went to these partners and I'm sitting down with them and I'm like, if I shut it down and I bring you under Dazzle and I run 2 football camps or sports camps and we bring in the kids and I still get the same numbers and I still want to give a backpack of football, a t-shirt. Papa John's, you want to give them pizza still? Yeah, we're in. Let's do it. Papa Belka, you want? Yeah, we're in. Let's do it. They weren't in it because it was arena football. They were in it because of what I sold them. And I could move that. Nonprofits. Hey, man, we want to help you with a bus. Well, I'm not spending $200,000 over here. Maybe I can help you now still with it. Now, where I wasn't wanting to make a monetary donation, maybe now I can. And how can we do? Can we do a thermometer, raise money and raise funds, hold a bocce ball tournament for all your Special Olympics? Can we do stuff to make a social impact? Absolutely. We can still do all of it without doing arena football. Do I miss the players? Oh, man, I miss that. Am I going to miss on Saturdays and all that? I mean, my kids, my family are going to miss that. All my family, we lived at the arena on Saturdays, But at the end of the day, yeah, it's just saying, let's go make a difference in our community. I lost some money. I'm a wholehearted supporter of NAL football and all those owners. And I'm going to make some games this year. I'm going to be rooting for people. And I think they got a good product. I think people that are bashing them don't have any clue, have no clue. And you're not hearing me bashing any of the other leagues, IFL, AF1, none of them. There's a lot that goes into it, and people get downriver without a paddle per se, and I think that sometimes they lose some money and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, I don't think anybody goes into, let me steal people's money, let me be a con artist. I mean, there might be some. There might be some. I'm sure there are. But for the most part, and I can speak for the owners of the NAL, there's some good guys, man. There's some good guys that care about the community that want to do it the right way. Any more from me, my man?
I do have one question that does kind of tie into the fan question.
Sure.
Having been obviously an active owner as of last season, do you feel like in today's economy and the landscape that arena football is sustainable for an owner or for a franchise in general? Because I know there's a lot of people who say, it's really catching on in like the West Coast and in the center of the states, but over here on the East Coast, it just seems no matter what happens, teams just have a hard time catching ground.
Yeah, I think not the fun answer on this. It's a tough business model. Midwest teams and West Coast teams, yes, tend to be drawing better crowds, keeping the fans engaged. The East Coast, maybe because there's so much going on the East Coast. Spring into the early summer, there's beaches, there's other baseball, good weather. There's just so much to do. Maybe that plays in. I'm not sure. I'm sure that there's smart people out there that can figure this out and get some college to do a study and survey. And, if they could poll for elections, they can poll and figure out why arena football struggles on the East Coast at times. But the culture, the climate is definitely affecting it. I'm not even going to get political, but money's tight. People are struggling to pay their bills. So the people that are going to go to an arena football game with their kids need to be able to afford it. And that's why you got to make sure your price point's right. I think climate in the world today is very tough. I think it can be done right. I will say, I think that I'll give a shout out to Omaha. I think it's Shreveport has some people that are full-time. Josh is pretty much full-time at Wheeling. It needs full-time people. I will say that. Here's the best way to put it. Why would you run a business that's on a $250 minimum budget up to $500,000 budget and not have one person full time. It's insanity. The people that want to do a good product and do a good team, I think understand that, and I think it needs it. I think to be ran correctly, an arena team needs to have a full-time person that's running operations and selling and promoting it. If you run it the way I learned to run arena football, I'm not naming names, but y'all can figure that out. If you can't, email somebody. I learned that it was ran basically half-ass. You start it up right before the season a month. You run it. You take all the people's money, just skim it. Be cool with the players, but really screw in the partnerships. And then after the season, throttle back. And I think that's what it was always ran here for the most part. Marcus and I changed that 12 years ago. We wanted to run it correctly. And one of the big things, I'm not going to name who, one of my staff reached out to me and said, listen, I know you're stressed out. I know you're upset about this because it's a tough decision. They go, but, Marcus Colston was a multi-million-dollar NFL player playing in the NFL. And after 2 years of owning the team, he shut it down. His business people got with him and said, you've lost enough money. It's just not a good business. He's like, you had the balls to bring it back and try. We played, right or wrong, liking us or not last year, we played. And we were trying to go forward this year. And they're like, unless you got $40 million in the bank that I don't know about, like Marcus, they're like, I can understand, an NFL player decided to shut it down. It was something about the numbers didn't. I think it's a hard business. I think it's tough. I think people can be successful, but they need to have it run it full time. They need to run it like a business. You got to run it like a business. It needs to be that passionate, and you're going to have to invest money. You're going to have to be willing to lose money to come. You're going to have to invest serious money and come forward. Can it be done? Yes. Would this guy be doing it? No. And do I think there's a lot of people that, one of the things also, I throw this out there. I was one of the sole owners teams. There's a lot of teams that have ownership groups or investment groups, multiple players. If you do a cash call, anything that needed to get paid, it came down to me. And if I didn't have it in the Stampede account, I had to, move it over. So it absolutely can be done. There's teams that are crushing it. But look at the ownership. Ricky Birch owns it, the Omaha Beef. He's full-time, runs it like a business. You can't go into the city of Omaha without knowing about the beef. He's doing it right. Shreveport, they're down there killing it. They're running it right. They're getting their name everywhere. Amarillo, Beaumont, look at Columbus. Columbus been around, and Coach Negron and them in Carolina, nothing but good things to say about it. You get into like Duffy's owns the Wheeling Minor, Chris Duffy, and Josh. Josh has been around indoor football. You get people that know what they're doing and that are passionate about their product. Even they'll tell. I think they would be straight lying to you if they told you it was easy. But these guys, these teams that have been around. The Carolinas, the Omahas, the Columbus Lions. They've been around a long time. They know what they're doing, and they got a good system and a good thing in place. And it's still tough for them. Selling sponsorship, selling somebody your dream, and getting money out of them, it's tough. That is definitely impacted by the economy right now. Companies say, we're spending X amount of money on marketing, advertising. You got to try to pull off a piece of that slice. That's tough. It's tough right now. So, but at the end of the day, I don't regret. You live and learn, and you have fun doing it. And I do. I think we had a lot of fun doing it. A lot of great relationships from it. And so, yeah, I appreciate you having me on and talking. And anything you guys ever we'll get on and talk some football. I'm going to be dropping the next week. We're announcing we starting a new podcast for Dazzle Sports. We'll be talking arena football. We'll be talking sports. We're going to be talking, bringing on celebrities. We're going to talk anything I like, news, politics, beer, you name it, we talk it. But we'll have Jose Canseco on the first episode. And first week of January, it's coming out. We're going to be talking about steroids and Jose Canseco and see what he knows about arena football too. And, so definitely keep in touch. And if you ever have anything, any questions like that, feel free. Everybody's more than able to. You can email me if you have any questions or comments that I made that you want to yell at me, curse at me, or laugh with me.
Absolutely. Well, it's really good to hear that you still have a lot of stuff in the works, and it's even better to hear that you were able to work out some deals with the kids camps and everything like that. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the youth and the community. So that's really awesome to hear.
That's how you leave a legacy, man. Nobody's gonna remember the arena football team. I mean, I hope that they love the team. And I'm sad on that part, but at the end of the day, man, make a difference in somebody's life, make the world a better place than you found it. And and that's what we're gonna do. We had a lot of good staff that really passionately cared about the team and our community. So we've actually brought over a couple of staff from Stampede, met people. I mean, we just had a lot of really good people around me, and so unfortunately wasn't able to work. But I had a great staff. Kudos to them. They made me look good. All right, brother.
Well, it's been really good to talk to you again, and I definitely look forward to keeping in touch and seeing some of the great things that you have on the horizon.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, great evening, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. And with that, we will end this broadcast from Shady Sports Network. Thank you again, Justin Coble, for the insight on why the Harrisburg Stampede decided to cease operations. But luckily, him and his staff are still going to be able to help out the community with youth programs and give back. So at least there is some kind of a happy ending to this somewhat messy situation. This is TJ Bartholomew with Shady Sports Network, signing off. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe either.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.